Next thing we're going to talk about tonight is a very interesting 4-pack that we knew was coming due to different Walmart listings and stuff that we got from the JT Prime 17 listing leaks. And we knew the name. We knew it was going to be part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, but we didn't know what was going to be inside it. And historically up to this point, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line has been stuff that has some kind of Bumblebee figure repaint and a whole bunch of other interesting stuff. And what a interesting 4-pack this is. It has made people very intrigued at the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. Up to this point, all the stuff that people were really excited about with the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line have been stuff that have been really original tooling, whether it be that core class figure or the recent Flying Saucer pre-Earth Bumblebee. But now we have something that just is absolutely spectacular, and it even answers some questions of stuff that we had in the past when we were first learning about Kingdom. So let's jump into that. So we got 4 figures here. Got 3 Deluxes, 1 Voyager, and we'll start with Bumblebee because Bumblebee is the headliner of this brand. And this Bumblebee, what they've done here is they took the Earthrise Cliff Jumper mold and they slapped a Bumblebee head on it. That's probably the safest bet in order to put a Bumblebee in here without stepping on the current Volkswagen one that is available through the Netflix exclusives. This raises all kinds of questions still. You know, the Netflix one is a Walmart exclusive. It's a licensed vehicle through Volkswagen, so that adds an extra caveat and layer to it. And it just seems like because the Buzzworthy stuff is Target exclusives, there's probably all kinds of different contractual stuff that's going on here, outside of even the difficulty of the car licensing with VW to begin with. So it's very fascinating what's going on here. I mean, the funny thing is you could interpret it also as like a yellow cliff jumper, which is a thing back in Generation 1. There was red Bumblebees and there was yellow cliff jumpers, so it's just another wacky version of that. It's a good mold. You know what I mean? It's a good mold. What adds is a little extra, I almost feel, to this that's cool too, is it comes with an Allspark accessory. I can't confirm if this is the same mold that came with the spoiler pack Megatron for Kingdom. I don't own that one currently, so I can't confirm, but it does look like that it comes with a Allspark accessory. So that's pretty cool too. Nice, you know, nice everything. If you didn't get your if you didn't get your Netflix Bumblebee, if it was difficult to find it at Walmart or whatever, it's a very pretty good silver medal in my opinion, you know? And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure there's going to be other opportunities. I just feel that at some point, another Volkswagen Beetle Bumblebee at some point will come up, and you will get that opportunity. Next up, we have Fangry. If you're a Masterforce fan, this is a big one for us. So what's interesting with Fangry, and he's the odd one out of the bunch here. A lot of people are like, how does he fit into all of this? And the same thing I've said many times in the past. It's a trademark thing. For people who aren't familiar, Fangry was a Headmaster Junior back in the day. He had a Headmaster named Briscoe. Briscoe was also included with this. It's using a Titan's Return mold this time around. The Titan's Return mold that they're using comes from that Twinferno, grotesque, repugnous kind of mold, and they just heavily retooled it to make it into Fangry, which is pretty cool too. So you got a really nice tooling going on here. Why did this happen? Well, Fangry's toy history, again, he had that original Headmaster Junior back in 1988, and after that, the only time he got another figure was when we had the Titan Masters, those little Titan Master price points. They did a little Fangry there too, and that was it. And that was in 2016. So right away there, when you're talking your trademarks, they file that trademark in 2016 or either 2015. The 4 years run up, they refresh that trademark in either 2020 or 2019, and now they got to do something with that Fangry mold within those next 4 years, and here we go. And it's great because, like I mentioned before, Masterforce people dig this because the character of Fangry in Masterforce was a character called Wilder, who was pretty cool on the Decepticon side of things. So I really dig that a lot. That's pretty awesome. That's also another like key thing in this box set that intrigues me. that would make me want it a little more. The funny thing is, when this is all going to be said and done, I think Bumblebee is probably the weakest one out of the bunch for me. But even then, your mileage may vary. Maybe Bumblebee's the most important to you, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on. But even a yellow cliff jumper is still pretty cool when you think about it. Next one up here, speaking of trademarks, the more I thought about it, we have a Nemesis Primal. Instead of a Optimus Primal or a Nemesis Prime, we have a Nemesis Primal. Now, what's absolutely fascinating about this, first of all, is there was many different ways you could have went about repainting Optimus Primal. There's all kinds of weird color schemes that original season 1 mold or that toy from 96 sported back in the day. But they went with making an evil version. And there's 2 layers to this. Number one, the color scheme that's used by this evil version is actually not the first time an Optimus Primal mold has used it. If you go back in time, and I'll probably post it on Twitter, just to give people a better visual representation too, and in a more higher quality. If you go back in time, back in 1997, Japan had the Beast Wars Gum Kabaya kits, and Optimus Primal was done in that black and purple. And it's just coincidentally that it kind of matches up to that. The only thing that I personally, and again, it could have gone either way. I think people either would have loved it or hated it. But I think that what would have been really cool to add as a little extra is if they would have went with the mutant head for the robot head on this one. But either way, I still think it looks really cool. We got an evil Optimus Primal, purples, teals, blacks, red swords, a lot of cool stuff going on here. And it kind of makes sense because they make this new trademark now, because now this trademark is a Nemesis Primal. And it's going to make sense because when we get to the Beast Wars movie, Rise of the Beasts and everything, there's probably going to be a lot of different Optimus Primal price-pointed toys. You're probably going to get some gimmicky toy. You're going to get some deluxe class. You're going to maybe get a scout class figure, some kind of legend scale. There's going to be a Studio Series one. There's going to be a whole bunch of slew of these 8 Primal toys that are going to come out of the woodwork. You're going to need some other characters that you could repaint it into, and this kind of creates that. Now you could have some Nemesis Primal figures ready to go, and you got this trademark here ready to go. So I really dig it. It's really cool. Has a little bit of Kabaya history with Beast Wars in the 90s, so I like what's going on here, and it kind of opens the door to a new beginning for a new character that up to this point we never really had that kind of concept, a Nemesis Primal. Now then, last but not least, we have Blackarachnia. Now, way back when the leaks of Beast Wars toys, specifically the Kingdom toys, were starting, Blackarachnia was leaked out, and the person who leaked it out showed an extra accessory that came with Blackarachnia. Now, it actually wasn't an accessory. It was something that was part of the model sprue when the figure was being made. A lot of times, when Transformer toys are planned in advance and they have the 2 head sculpts that are planned in advance all on the model sprue together, and when they assemble the figure, they just toss, it's all pressed by the factory in that color, and the extra head is on the same sprue as the other head. They just toss out that other head, they recycle the plastic, and they use it again. It's just for simplicity for manufacturing. And it gets recycled, so it's not like it's really wasted. This is the same story that we had with the T-Rex, where the belief is that the 2 different head sculpts were on the Megatron sprue, and they used the wrong head sculpt for T-Rex, and that's why we have the silver lips that we have today instead of teeth. Now, getting back to this Blackarachnia, we have the alternate head sculpt here, or that accessory as it was originally claimed. And this alternate head sculpt and this color scheme is a 100% throwback to the original Blackarachnia 1996 toy, which before she debuted in the show, she had her toy, which sported a very unique color scheme of purples and golds and greens. And even her box art was fascinating with the studded collar around her neck and everything going on. So it's throwing back to that. And that's really cool. For Beast Wars collectors, that's a nice little extra historical piece to have in their collection. And because it uses that Blackarachnia Kingdom mold that has that more feminine figure, it even harkens even more back to that box art that also had that feminine figure. So I really like what I see there too. That's a really cool throwback. So between a yellow cliff jumper, or a bumblebee, but a yellow cliff jumper, a Masterforce character, an evil black repaint, although Optimus Primal was always black, but an evil black repaint of Optimus Primal and Nemesis Primal, which is a Kabaya homage, and a G1, not a G1, a Beast Wars 97 toy homage. It's a nice little box set that makes a lot of different people in a lot of different pockets of the Transformer community excited. And I know I am. And you get that little Allspark too, so a lot of little cool stuff going on here. Now, the rumor is that the MSRP on this is $79.99, and because it's Buzzworthy, the product line, the assumption is going to be it's a Target exclusive, because historically everything up to this point with Buzzworthy Bumblebee have been Target exclusives. There is rumors that this was found in Walmart, but I don't believe that. You know, there's such a large percentage of the Transformer community that really talks out of its butt, and it's ridiculous. So let's put it this way: it's probably going to be a Target exclusive. Failing that, maybe a Hasbro Pulse exclusive or something. But it's just because right now Buzzworthy has been exclusively Target stuff, and of course in Canada, the flip side of that, it would be a Toys R Us exclusive because we don't have Target over there. So this will be interesting. This will be very interesting to see what happens with this. I'm excited about it. Looks really cool. I dig this box set. It's definitely something that's going to have my attention. And I know a lot of other people will too, just because there's a lot of different flavors to a lot of different things in it that appeal to different people. So even at the end of the day, if you only want one thing, maybe the other three might be interesting to other people. And you could kind of like split up a box set among 3 people or 4 people even. That'd be pretty crazy. I've seen that a lot in BotCon in the past when they used to do the Souvenir 2-packs. People want one figure but not the other. So I dig it. I like it a lot. It's fresh. It's unique. It's cool. And I hope to see more of stuff like that in the future. And speaking of which, I hope to see you tonight. It's the Saturday night live stream, Transformers Saturday night live stream, 8 o'clock Pacific. 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. So we'll see what happens. We'll discuss more into this. Maybe we'll get some more information or pictures. And we'll just talk Transformers.